your daily Philadelphia Eagles podcast. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
I'm Louis DiBiase, your host of your daily Philadelphia Eagles podcast, Locked on Eagles, with a YouTube and Fox 43 exclusive edition of the show. Getting into the blockbuster news today that Russell Wilson has been traded to the Denver Broncos for 2 first-round picks, 2 second-round picks, a 5th-rounder, tight end Noah Fant, quarterback Drew Lock, and a defensive lineman in Shelby Harris. The big question, considering all the rumors and the ties between the Eagles and Russell Wilson, was, before this trade, did the Eagles at least inquire with the Seattle Seahawks about potentially landing Wilson and avenging missing out on Wilson in 2012? And was this more about Russell Wilson's no trade clause blocking any potential deal with the Philadelphia Eagles? Or did this more have to do with the Eagles preferring to stick with Jalen Hurts, building and developing in another season heading into year 3 in 2022, and using those 4 picks in the first 2 rounds to build around Hurts on both offense and defense? That really is the main question that everybody was asking today. And it was just confirmed from NFL insider Ben Albright that the Eagles were in fact a team in on the Russell Wilson sweepstakes, and they did potentially make an offer. And so that, to me, at least gives me peace of mind in this whole situation. Obviously, it's very disappointing that the Eagles were not able to land Russell Wilson, but at the same time, the fact that at least they were willing to go for it, they were willing to give up assets and upgrade the position, even with the promise Jalen Hurts has shown, to know the Eagles would be willing to make a risk and go for a proven elite quarterback, is, to me, comforting. Because I would understand why Russell Wilson would not want to come to the Eagles compared to the Denver Broncos. You know, I think Philadelphia has a lot of work to do when it comes to their quarterback reputation, considering what happened with Carson Wentz. But at the same time, it more has to do with, look, when you're a veteran 33-year-old quarterback like Russell Wilson at the height of your powers, and you might only have 3-4 top-tier seasons left, you know, is Philadelphia a horrible spot to be in, considering the offensive line and Devontae Smith and Dallas Goedert and Miles Sanders and all that draft capital and cap space as well? Not at all. It's definitely, there's a lot of worse situations in the NFL, and Russell Wilson could win big with the Eagles. But when you control your own destiny with a no trade clause, which is very unheard of in the NFL, why settle? How much better is the Eagles situation compared to what he was just in with the Seattle Seahawks? When you could go to a team like the Denver Broncos that were a quarterback away, let's be honest, from being a Super Bowl contender, when last year they were a playoff contender all year with pretty bad quarterback play with Drew Lock and Teddy Bridgewater. Like, if you're going to choose between the Denver Broncos and the Philadelphia Eagles, let's be real, Eagles fans. I would prefer as well to go over to the Denver Broncos and play with Jerry Jeudy, Cortland Sutton, KJ Hamler, and Tim Patrick, and have potentially Von Miller come back with Bradley Chubb on the edge and Patrick Surtain as one of the best young corners, and Justin Simmons is one of the best young safeties in the NFL. The Denver Broncos make a whole lot more sense for Wilson than the Eagles do. And so I'm okay with that fact. I can live with it as long as the Eagles took a shot, because they had a rare opportunity with 3 first-round draft picks this year and a second to make an offer that would not, quote-unquote, although I don't think there's a kill-your-future scenario when you're trading for an elite quarterback, but they wouldn't have to, quote-unquote, sell the farm in this deal. So at least they tried to take advantage of that very unique and rare situation they have this year with that draft ammunition, because if they didn't, I was going to be pretty concerned about the Eagles' plans and their perspective at the quarterback position. Whereas this attempt, though, to land Wilson, just like Washington did, it was the Eagles and the Washington Commanders that made a push for Wilson, but he would not waive his no-trade clause for either team. The fact that they did go for it does at least reinstill my confidence in this team's quarterback plans, that yes, they do believe in Jalen Hurts to a certain degree. And they would love to see it work out with Jalen and have him take a step in year 3. It'd be a lot better of a situation. You'd save so much money on that second round rookie contract he has for another 2 years. You could use all those draft picks to build around him and create a stable environment, build one of the best rosters in the NFC right now. That would be ideal. And the Eagles would like to see that pan out. They really like a lot of things about Jalen Hurts, but we all do see the limitations as well in Jalen and how the ceiling could be kept. And to see that they're willing to upgrade, they like Jalen, but only to a certain point, and the door is not closed on other options, makes me feel good that, hey, if there was a prospect in the 2022 NFL draft that they recognize as an upgrade, as somebody that has more potential to be the guy, that they would at least consider taking a Malik Willis or a Matt Corral or a Desmond Ridder or whoever they identify as that player. Or if they wanted to take a risk on another veteran quarterback that could be available, if they think that can be your version of Matt Stafford or another version of Russell Wilson, that the door is not closed. It just makes me feel better to know that that is on the table, and that what happened with Carson Wentz and, maybe this being Howie Roseman's last hurrah doesn't make him gun shy and potentially picky in waiting for the perfect moment to strike, when there could be options that are better options than Jalen Hurts that could be players that become or are already elite. So it reinstilled my faith in the quarterback plan that, hey, we want this to work out with Jalen Hurts, but we're trying to, no matter what, find an elite quarterback, and we're not going to force Jalen Hurts a square peg into a round hole in that role if he's not the guy. And if we can get that other player right now, and not even have to wait and answer the question with Hurts, and just get a guy right now that we know is that player, that they would have been willing to do it. It's another interesting what if that we'll be asking about in Eagles history all throughout. Russell Wilson is a big part of two of those what ifs now. What if they took Russell Wilson in the 2012 NFL draft, and what if he was willing to come to the Eagles in 2022? What were they willing to give up? It'll join Eagles lore forever. I'm Louis DiBiase signing off. Thank you so much for tuning into this YouTube and Fox 43 exclusive edition of your daily Philadelphia Eagles podcast, Locked on Eagles. Make sure you subscribe to the show wherever you get your podcast, and subscribe to our YouTube channel. As always, thank you for downloading and thank you for watching. Let's go Birds.